Hello, this is Mike Gibbons, and in this short tutorial I'm going to show you how we can filter the stocks that we see on our watch lists and also limit the email alerts that we receive to only those stocks that meet the filter criteria that we've set. I'm going to show you this based on our cup with handle watch list, which I've already selected. And first we click on our filter settings tab, and this little window will pop up. You can see that currently we have no filters active on this watch list. We have no filters saved, and consequently there's no filters that will be applied to our email alerts. Now I added a new filter today. Today is Friday, June 25th, by the way, which allows us to select based upon what we call our target criteria that we've been developing over the last 6 months. So we'll start out by selecting this as one of our filters, and one of the features that we have on this little window is that we can do a back test based on the filters that we've set. The default is 90 days, so let's just run it for 90 days and click the button, and then shortly, let me pull this into view, this little window pops up which shows us what the results of our filters are. We can see that over the last 90 days there were 188 alerts that we issued, of which 51 were confirmed. A confirmed breakout is when it closes the day at or above its breakout price on a volume that is at least 1.5 times average volume. And we see that for all breakouts there were 51 confirmed, but 7 of those were considered a failure because they fell to 8%, or at least 8% below their breakout price before they'd gained at least 5%. We consider a 5% gain as being the minimum for it to qualify as a successful breakout. And we see that of those 51 breakouts, the average maximum gain that they made after the breakout was 16.53%, and that's the maximum gain to their best intraday high. Now for our filters, we see that there were 35 alerts that would have been issued, 9 of which were confirmed, but interestingly there were 0 failures. So in other words, all of these stocks made at least 5%. We can see what these stocks were by clicking the list link, and another window pops up. Let me pull it into view, and this shows the symbols, the date, and the subsequent maximum gain that they made after breakout. And this column shows us what the maximum drawdown was. Drawdown is the percentage loss from the most recent high. So for example, SPRD, which had the biggest drawdown was 7.2%, meaning that as it was gaining 62%, the maximum drop that it made from any intraday high was 7%. So your maximum loss on that stock from the high would have been 7.2%. So I'll close that window, close this window, and let's say that we're pretty happy with that performance. Oh, let me go back. There's something I didn't show you there. Forgot to talk about the last line, so let's pull that back. We can see that the filters that we chose gained a total of 21.88%, which meant that we improved our performance by 5.35% over not using this filter at all, which effectively improved our return by 32%. So our return on these stocks, or on these breakouts, went up from 16.5% to 21.9%, an improvement of 32.3%. Okay, well, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's close that window. So what I want to do now is I want to make those filters active on this watch list. I want to save them so when I return to this watch list these filters will be used, and I also want to apply them to any email alerts I receive. So I now click Update and Apply, and now we're done. So now in future, when we come back to this watch list, it will already be filtered by our filter settings. You can see that all of the stocks selected meet the target criteria, which shows that the filter was working, and all of the email alerts that we receive will only be for stocks that meet these target criteria. That's to say, meet the filter that we've set. I hope you found this useful. Bye bye.